Concept of cooperation. Concept of cooperation. Sorry. Cooperation has been defined as a form of organization in which persons voluntarily associate together on the basis of equality of the promotion of their economic interest. Those who have come together have a common economic aim which they cannot achieve because of their economic weakness. This element of individual weakness is overcome by the pooling of their resources by making self-help effective through mutual help. A cooperative organization is an association which furnishes an economic services with entrepreneur profit and which is owned and controlled on a substantially equal basis by those for whom the service is rendered. A cooperative society is an enterprise formed and directed by an association of users applying within itself the rules of democracy and directly intended to serve both its member and the community as a whole. Objective of cooperatives. Objective of cooperatives. Economic objective. Cooperative as an institution caters to the member need based on self-help. It needs the mutual cooperation of the member and worker for their own benefit and consequently for that of the community as a whole. The overall economic object of the cooperatives is the welfare of the members of the society through supply of the cheap credit, development of the banking habit, secure better price for farm production, eliminating ex, exploiting by middlemen and creation of storage facilities of the production until sold at appropriate time. Social objective. It is to develop democratic leadership and to motivate people to option of voluntary participation and group action. Individuals are treated equal without any discrimination. It also aims at industry self-reliance and mutual help. It fosters a sense of responsibility and integrity. It brings a sense of security and harmony among the members. Educational objective. Educational objective. It is to bring about knowledge of cooperative to its participants and to develop responsibility and honesty among the member. Principle of cooperation. Principle of cooperation. The cooperative principle are guidelines by which cooperatives put their value into practices. Sorry. Cooperative movement made its first appearance in England. It was started to give belief to persons exploited by middlemen during the Industrial Revolution. About 28 poor weavers of Rothschild come together with the capital of £1 each to open a small retail shop in 1844. They adopted a set of rules which was later known as Rochdale Principle and was accepted worldwide as the cooperative principles. Rothschild Principle of Cooperation. The Rothschild Principle of Cooperation are democratic control, open membership, limited interest on capital, distribution on the surplus to the members in proportion to their transactions, cash trading, political and religious neutrality, promotion of education. Revised cooperative principle. Revised cooperative principle. With the eventually growth in science and technology and diversification in cooperative business, it was felt that the Rothschild principle needed some modification, clarification, and adjustment. Consequently, the International Cooperative Alliance (ICA) appointed a subcommittee in 1934 for his purpose. The committee, in its report 1937, classified these principles into two broad groups as follows: essential principle, non-essential principle, open membership, political or religious neutrality, democratic management, case rate trading, limited interest on capital, education to member, payment of individed in proportion to transaction. These principles did not leave enough scope for interpretation and understanding. According, the ICA again appointed a commission in 1964, and this commission submitted its report in 1936. It has two characteristic features. Firstly, it did not classify the principle as essential and non-essential, and secondly, the principles were explained as accurately as possible. These principles were again revised by the ICA, which was adopted at the 1995 Congress and General Assembly of the International Cooperative Alliance, held in Manchester to celebrate the Alliance centenary. The reformulated principles were as follows: voluntary and open membership. Cooperative are voluntary organization open to all persons able to use their services and willing to accept the responsibility of membership without gender, social, racial, political or religious discrimination. Democratic member control. Cooperative are democratic organization controlled by their members who actively participate in setting their policies and making. Members contribute equitably to and democratically control the capital of their cooperative. At least part of that capital is usually the common property of the cooperative. Members usually receive limited compensation, if any, on capital subscribed as a condition of membership. Member allocated surpluses for any or all of the following purposes: developing their cooperative, possibly by setting up reserves, part of which at least would be individual, benefiting members in proportion to their transaction with the cooperative, and supporting other activity approved by the membership. Autonomy and independence. Autonomy and independence. Cooperative are autonomous self-help organization controlled by their members. If they enter to agreement with other organizations, including government, or raise capital from external sources, they do so on terms that ensure democratic control by their members and maintain their cooperative autonomy. Education, training and information. Cooperative provides education and training for their members, elected representative, manager and employees, so they can contribute effectively to the development of their cooperatives. They inform the general public, particularly young people and opinion leaders, about the nature and benefit of cooperation. Cooperation among cooperatives. Cooperatives serve their members most effectively and strengthen the cooperative movement by working together through local, national, regional, and international structure. Concern for community. Cooperative work for the sustainable development of their community through policies approved by their members. Earliest attempt at dairy development in India. Earliest attempts at dairy development in India. The earliest attempt at dairy development can be traced back to British rule, when the Defence Department established military dairy farm to ensure the supply of milk and butter to the colonial army. The first of these farms was set up in Allahabad in 1913. Subsequent facilities were established at Bangalore, Otakamachu and Karnal. These farms were well maintained and even in the early stage improved milk animal was raised. as animals were rare under the farm condition. Some herd improvement was made using artificial insemination. This approach did not have any impact on the supply of milk to urban consumers, which was of major concern to civilian authority but less important to the military. With the growth of the population in urban area, consumers had to depend on milk vendors who kept cattle in this area and sold their milk, often door to door. As a result, several cattle sheds come into existence in different cities. This was not an environmentally sound approach, as the main objective of the milk vendors was to maximize profit. They started increasing the location period. In the process, these high-yield cattle developed sterility problem, which considerably reduced the number of calvings. Once the cattle become unproductive, they were sold to slaughterhouse. These practices systematically drained the country of its genetically superior breed. To some extent, the Second World War gave impetus to private dairies with modernized processing facilities in the cities of Bombay, Calcutta, Madras, Delhi, and even in some large townships, processed milk, table butter, and ice cream were available. Though not on a large scale, Paulson, Cavender's, and the Express Dairy were some of the pioneer urban processing dairies. These dairies were not concerned with improving the breed of milk animal reared in rural pockets, but instead were content with contracting milk supply through middlemen or their own staff. Milk producers as well as consumers were exploited. These early modern systems did not bring about significant shift in milk production, nor did they develop quality milk animal. To a large extent, despite modernized processing facility, dairying remained unorganized. With the initiation of India's first five-year plan in 1951, modernization of the dairy industry became a priority of the government. The goal was to provide hygienic milk to the country's growing urban population. Initial government action in this regards consisted of organizing milk schemes in large cities. To stimulate milk production, the government implemented the Integrated Cattle Development Project (ICDP) and the Key Village Scheme (KVS). Key Village Scheme (KVS), among other similar programs. In the absence of a stable and remunerative market for milk production remained more or less stagnant during the 2 decades between 1951 and 1970. The growth rate in milk production was barely 1% per annum, while per capita milk consumption declined by an equivalent amount. During the 1960s, various state governments tried out different strategies to develop dairy, including establishing dairy run by their own departments, setting up cattle colony in urban area, and organizing milk scheme. Almost variably, dairy processing plants were built in cities rather than in the milk shed where milk was produced. This urban orientation to milk production led to the establishment of cattle colony in Bombay, Calcutta, and Madras. This government project had extreme difficulties in organizing rural milk procurement and running milk scheme economically, yet none concentrate on creating an organized system for procurement of milk, which was left to contractors and middlemen. Milk is perishable nature and relative scarcity gave the milk vendors leverage which they used to a considerable advantage. This left the government to run dairy plant for use in large quantity of relatively cheap and commercially important milk powder. The daily per capita availability of milk dropped to a March 107 gram during this time. High fat buffalo milk was extended with imported milk powder to bring down the milk price, which resulted in a decline in domestic milk production. As the government dairy were meeting nearly one third of the urban demand, the usage of consumer became longer while the rural milk producer was left in the clutches of the traders and the mon- moneylenders. All these factors combined left Indian dairy in a most unsatisfactory and low level of equilibrium. The establishment and prevalence of cattle colony emerged as a curse for dairy as it resulted in a major genetic drain on the rural milk animal population, which would never be replaced. City dairy colonies also contributed to environment degradation while the rural producers saw little reason to increase production. Amul and the evolution of the Anand model. Amul and the evolution of the Anand model. Milk procurement for the rural area and its marketing in the urban area was the major problem in Indian dairy at the time when India gained independence. In one of the earliest urban milk supply schemes, Paulson's, a private dairy at Anand, procured milk from milk producer through middlemen, processed it, and then sent the milk to Bombay, some 4 to 5 km away. Bombay was a good market for milk, and Paulson profited immensely. In the mid 1940s, when the milk producer in Kera asked for a proportionate share of the trade margin, they were denied even a modest increases. The milk producer went on strike, refusing to supply milk to Palsan. On the advice of Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, a leader in India's independence movement, the milk producer registered the Kera District Cooperative Milk Producers Union and popular now as Amul in 1946. The Kera Union procured milk from affiliated village level milk society. This was the genesis of organized milk marketing in India, a pioneer effort that opened a new vista for dairy development in the country. Between 1946 and 1952, Amul's policy was directed towards obtaining monopoly right for the sale of milk to the Bombay Milk Scheme. In 1952, it succeeded in achieving its purpose after the government of Bombay cancelled the contract with Paulsons and handed over the entire business of supplying milk from the Kera district to Amul. However, as the Bombay Milk Scheme was committed to purchasing all the milk produced by the Array Milk Colony in Bombay, it would not take Amul's milk during the peak winter month. The disposal of this surplus milk posed difficulties for Amul, forcing it to cut down on purchases from its member society, which affected members' confidence. The answer was the production of milk product. In 1955, a new dairy plant was set up at Anand to produce butter, ghee, and milk powder. A second dairy was built in 1965 and a product manufacturing unit was established in 1971 to cope with increasing milk procurement. In 1993, a fully automatic modern dairy was constructed adjacent to the original Amul dairy plant at Anand. Amul formed the basis of the Anand model of dairying. The basic unit in this model is the milk producer cooperative society at the village level. These cooperative are organization of milk producer who wish to market their milk collectively. Membership is open to all who need the cooperative services and who are willing to accept the responsibility to bring a member. Decisions are taken on the basis of one member exercising one vote. Whether profit or loss are divided among the members in proportion to patronage. Each cooperative is expected to carry out the continuing education of its member, elected leaders, and employees. All the milk cooperative in a district form a union that ideally has its own processing facilities. All the union in a state are normally members of a federation whose prime responsibility is the marketing of milk and milk product outside the state. There is also a fourth tier, the National Cooperative Dairy Federation of India (NCDFI). National Cooperative Dairy Federation of India (NCDFI), which is a national level body that formulates policies and programs designed to safeguard the interest of all milk producers. Each tier of the Anand organizational structure perform a unique functional procurement and services by the cooperative processing by the union, marketing by the state federation, and advancing the interest of the cooperative dairy industry by the national federation. Thus, the Anand model has evolved into an integrated approach to systematic dairy development. Factor about Kera District Cooperative Milk Products Producer Union Amul. Established in 1946, to society collected 250 liters of milk, complete with pulses to supply milk to Bombay. 1952, Bombay government terminated person contract and signed with Amul. 1955, dairy and milk powder plant was established with aid from the United Nations Children's Fund (UNICEF). 1960, Amul pioneered production of milk powder and baby food from buffalo milk. Amul meet production demand for critical inputs, veterinary services, artificial insemination, and feed. Today, Amul members supply more than 1 million liters of milk per day. Amul sells 400 tons of cattle feed every month. Three-tier system in Anand pattern of dairy cooperative. The three-tier in the Anand model of dairy cooperative are primary milk producer cooperative society at village level, district cooperative milk producer union, state milk producer cooperative federation, primary milk producer cooperative society. Primary Milk Producer Cooperative Society. It is the first and basic unit in the three-tier system of Anand Pattern Dairy Cooperative established at village level. Function. The function of the society can be broadly classified into managerial, operational, and input service. Managerial. All the members from the general body which has supreme power. The society has a managing committee of 11 members elected among them. The managing committee in turn elects the president. The committee decided the policy, form the guideline, and employ paid staff such as secretary and assistant for the efficient running for the society. The committee holds the meeting every month. Operational. Every society has a milk collection center and collect milk brought by the producer every morning and evening. The quantity of the milk supply is measured properly. A sample is taken from each producer and poured for testing the milk for fat percentage. The entire milk is pulled and a sample is drawn for testing solid non-fat. Every morning and evening, a truck from the union comes to the society for milk collection. Necessary entire are made in the truck seats. The empty can are unloaded for the next collection. The payment is done on the basis of two axis pricing policy, Fed and SNA%. The producer are paid in cash on a weekly basis. The entire of payment are made both in producer's passbook and society records. The job of account start right from the time the producer supplies the milk to the society. The most of the registers are posted twice a day. The account reflects the financial standing of the society at any time. A society prepares its balance sheet on a yearly basis. Daily cleaning of all equipment in the society is done to avoid contamination and spoilage of milk. Apart from the regular payment for that milk, the society at the end of each year pay bound to the members based on the profit and dividends to share. The society also perform activities such as disposal of sample milk, local sale of milk, standardization of equipment and chemical etc. Input service. The service include AI, veterinary first aid, selling cattle feed, providing quality feeder seed, organizing meeting, arranging educational tour, cattle insurance etc. Organization. Organization Organization and registration of milk producer cooperative society. The first and foremost step in the survey of the village. The village are graded based on the milk potential. A milk procurement officer or supervisor from the union visit the selected village and arrange a meeting presided by a social respected person. The officer or superior explained the advantage of organizing a milk society. Once the decision is taken to start a society, a chief promoter is selected from amongst them. Then the Gram Sabha is organized. A general body meeting of the members is called to elect the president of the society and to pass resolution regarding the area of operation, constitute an ad hoc managing committee comprising 11 directors for a proposal. Procedure for registration. The Procedure Milk Cooperative Society is allowed to function as such for 3 months. Then the union supervisor put forth the proposal for registration. The proposal is recommended by the milk procurement section head and forwarded to the competent authority in the dairy development department before registering the society. The application form should be filled as per the act and rule. Specimen for the form is available in the act book. All the members of the society should sign the application as promoters. The application should be submitted along with 7 copies of bylaws signed by the chief promoters, a list of members with number of shares held by each of them, 1 copy of all the resolution passed at the society's organization meeting, a copy of accounts for the period it has worked as a proposed society, and a certificate regarding jurisdiction of the respective village panchayat. The register, after satisfying that the proposed society is in conformity with the rules and regulations in force and the principle and philosophy of cooperation and the process, society has a reasonable chance to succeed. Appointed a chief promoter who is authorized to collect the ceremony of arrest and along with one as entrance fee for all the members. The amount is then deposited in the bank. The society is considered to be registered only when a registration certificate with a registration number is issued by the registering authority. After registration, the secretary, in consultation with the president of the society, called for a general body meeting to consider certain agendas such as accepting the registered by law, election of a managing committee, regularization of membership, affiliation of the society with the milk producer union and the district cooperative banks, and appointment of local auditors for processing of the accounts. District Cooperative Milk Producers Union. District Cooperative Milk Producers Union. The second tier is the District Dairy Cooperative Union at the district level. In some case, 2 or 3 districts may come under one milk union. Each and every village milk cooperative society become a members of District Dairy Cooperative Union with a share capital and an entrance fees. Functions. Function. The union carry out the following 5 important functions: procurement of milk, processing and marketing of milk and milk products, providing technical input such as animal health, artificial insemination, feeds and fodder development, strengthening of milk cooperative movement, organization of extension activities and rural development. The District Dairy Cooperative Union own and operate a dairy plant for processing of milk and other byproducts, a cattle feed plant for mixing feed and selling to the farmers at cost price, operation of bull mother farm, semen collection banks, and a headquarter center for animal husbandry activities. Organization. Organization and registration of District Cooperative Milk Producer Union. The district level milk producer union comprises of minimum 25 organized and registered village society which form the basis unit of the union. The organizational function is regulated by the approved by law of the district register of the cooperative society at district level. In some cases, the implementing agency, government, corporation, federation may nominate the union director to organize the society. The application for registration is made on the prescribed date for available with the district registers along with 7 copies by law duly signed by promoter and members along with a copy for the minute of the organization meeting, bank balance certification, etc. After the registration, the chief promoters must issue an agenda indicating the date, time, purpose, and place of the meeting to all the eligible member societies for holding the first general body meeting of the union. The meeting's agenda should be the selection of president, acceptance of registers by law, election of regular board, approval of account, fixing the borrowing limit of the union, and other work. The office bearers are elected according to the norms prescribed in the bylaw or rule and act of the state. The Dairy Cooperative Union is controlled by a board of directors of 70 members, of which 12 are elected representative of the village society. The remaining 5 members comprises the managing director and official of the union as a member secretary, a representative of the registers of cooperative societies, a representative of the state federation, and 1 or 2 representatives of financial institutions. These 5 members are not eligible in contesting for the post of the chairman. In general, policy of the union is formed by the board. The board employs the managing director while the board determining the number type and scale of the post. It is the managing director who appoints the staff. State Milk Producer Cooperative Federation. State Milk Producer Cooperative Federation. The third tier is the Cooperative Milk Marketing Federation operating at state level. The district dairy union become members of the federation by subscribing at least the minimum prescribed share capital. The federation is responsible for the implementation of the policies of cooperative marketing, product price, provision of services, AI, health cover, etc., and cooperative marketing of technical input to the members. Function. Function. The federation controls the centralized technical input program, milk production enhancement program, which cover the essential activities such as animal health, artificial insemination, feed and fodder development, and extension activities. Organization. Organization. The board of the federation consists of the elected chairman of all the cooperative union and managing directors. Other members are the representative of the register of cooperative society, a representative of finances agency, nominee of NDDB, and one nominee of the state government. These members elect a chairman of the board, and the board evaluates the federation's policies on all its functions. The federation managing director is the committee chairman, and the general manager it is secretary. The committee meet once in a month and implement policy and plan. Thank you.